How are you? I hope you're doing great and everything is great on your end. I hope you had a great week and are ready for this new week. Today we carry on and continue where we left with the first video of titled In Your Twenties. Um, so to recap very fast what we talked about the previous week, it was which I shared two lessons that I had learned while maneuvering my 20s, and the first one was establishing my relationship with God and building capacity, and this is in terms of skills, knowledge, refining your strengths, and also building capacity in terms of finances. So just to inform you, for those who are new here, to inform you what we've been talking about, particularly for in our 20s. So in your 20s, the years in your 20s are the defining years of your life, because these are the years where you feel young, you feel wild, you feel free, but they are very significant because you build habits, you build behaviors which are for your well-being, are for survival through your year, through this decade. But at the same time, these habits could be very detrimental to your health later on in life, or just your future life. So I'm here to share with you what I learned that helped me maneuver my 20s. Hopefully they will help someone out there. So let's jump in. So on to the third lesson that I learned while maneuvering my 20s was to romanticize your life. To romanticize your life, meaning to be present, to be aware, to be in the moment, to appreciate and acknowledge the little things of life. You know, while in your 20s, you are literally rushing through your 20s. And by rushing, what do I mean? You are either moving out of your parents' house into campus, so you are excited about life, you're done with campus, now you're worried about getting a job, you've gotten your job, you're worried about settling down, maybe finding someone to marry or get married to. It's like you're from one phase to another, jumping from one stage to another, and sometimes we don't get to appreciate the moment that we are in. And I'm here to tell you that while you're maneuvering in your 20s, while you're transitioning from this phase to this other phase, learn to romanticize your life. So how can you romanticize your life while in your 20s? It's just a shift in your perspective and just the way you look at life, enjoying the little things of life. You don't have to wait till something big happens and then you be like, okay, now I can enjoy my life. It's the reality of life. We don't have exponentially incredible things happening every day. So it's just you looking at what you can appreciate. You can either let your 20s happen to you or empower yourself to just make the best out of your 20s. And how can you do this? There are different ways of doing of just romanticizing your life, and it just depends with you what makes you tick, what makes you happy. So I can share with you a few ways on how you can romanticize your life. And number one is fill your space or your house with the most beautiful things. And it doesn't have to be expensive things. It can be wallpapering your room. Yes. It can be just having fresh flowers every day, or maybe once a week in your house, filling your house with like some good art. It doesn't have to be expensive, just refreshing the space that you live in. You can also decide to take a spontaneous trip out of town, either alone or with your friends. You can decide to take yourself for a picnic, grab some delicious snacks and some camera, some portable music speaker, and just go enjoy yourself. Or you can decide to take yourself out for a date alone. Just go out to maybe a favorite restaurant or a place you've always wanted to go. Or if you don't want to go outside, you can just cook yourself a favorite meal within your house and just have an alone night and enjoy yourself. So those are just a few ways of how you can romanticize your life as you maneuver your 20s. You don't have to rush through your 20s, so enjoy yourself as you maneuver your 20s. So please do bear with me. There's some construction ongoing nearby, so there's some bit of background noises. So on to the fourth lesson that I learned while maneuvering my 20s was how to deal with societal pressure. So societal pressure is these are the combined pressures that are in our day-to-day life, and some of the sources of these societal pressures are unfortunately our families, social media, our peer groups, and so many others. So I'll talk about these three and how you can deal with them to help you maneuver your 20s without feeling very overwhelmed. So sometimes the pressure can come from our families, maybe for us to do a particular course in campus or to go to college for some particular skills. Maybe you don't feel you want to. And it usually comes from a good place. They want the best for you, or sometimes they can coerce you to enter into a relationship they feel that it's best for you, that maybe you don't even want anything to do with this person, and it can get to us mentally. And sometimes you'd want to do these things not because you really want to, but because you want to please your parents, and maybe you just don't want trouble with them and you just want to make them happy, and it can really put you under some type of stress which is not healthy at all. And the other kind of pressure we experience from our peer groups, these are the people whom we hang out with, maybe at our workplaces, at the university, and some of the things they do can really get to us. It can be both positive or negative. There's this saying that goes, whoever keeps you company determines what accompanies you. So sometimes in the negative way, sometimes we find ourselves, we try to engage ourselves in activities or try to live in a particular way so that we can fit, or you even engage in some activity so that you can maybe get these things of life, so that you can be associated with a particular status of life just because your peer groups are in that kind of lifestyle. And some of these things maybe might just take you out of what you're used to and just put you into some kind of pressure which is not healthy at all. And the other pressure comes from what almost everybody finds themselves in, and that's the social media. The social media, we can all agree, has its own advantages and its disadvantages. And the disadvantages are you get exposed to what other people are doing, maybe the trips they take, the kind of lifestyle they live, and maybe these are people who are the same age as you, and you might feel that you're being left behind, or what are you doing that is not matching to what they're doing, because maybe they seem to be far ahead in life and you've been left behind, and it can really make you engage in dubious activities because you also want to match up, you also want to reach the level that they're in, and this can really put you into so much psychological pressure if one is not careful. So how I learned to maneuver this kind of pressure was, number one, to stick in my own lane. I had to teach myself how to stick in my own lane and not to be so focused on what other people are doing or how other people are living their lives and lifestyle. Or so someone has gotten married, so someone has gotten a job, what about me? I had to learn to focus on what is happening in my life and trying to better myself. Yes, you can look at other people to encourage you so that it can motivate you to do better or maybe to work hard, but it shouldn't be that you're focusing on them so that you can compete with them, or you can compare yourself with them and feel like, oh, you're being left behind. So Learn to have your peace of mind, stick in your own lane, stay focused, shun away competition, and just be determined with what is happening in your life. Be determined in achieving your goals, achieving your dreams, and just getting ahead of yourself, resting with yourself and not resting with other people. The other way I managed to maneuver this kind of pressure was learning and teaching myself to say no. In a world of many yeses, learn to say no to the things that don't benefit you, to the things that don't grow you, to the things that take away from you. You know, the truth has become a scarce commodity in the world, and evil has been fashioned to be so good, and morality has just gone down in our society today. So it's just learning to be that person of good morals and an upright person, just upholding the values that you have that make you to be different. And yes, people will make fun of you. Some will call you maybe an old-fashioned person, or maybe a holy Joe, but it doesn't matter as long as it doesn't make you stoop low and live a kind of lifestyle that just degrades who you are. So learn to say no to things that don't build you, to things that don't make you become better. And the third way I learned to maneuver this kind of pressure was to have trusted people whom I can talk to, who can advise me, who can just give me a sound guidance on how I can maneuver or can manage this kind of pressure, because sometimes this pressure really gets to you and it becomes very overwhelming. So just find trusted people whom when you tell your stuff you won't hear it with other people out there. So just identify who is that you can trust and you can tell your stuff, and they can just help you and hold your hand and help you maneuver this kind of pressure so that it doesn't get to you mentally. Yes. The fourth lesson that I learned while maneuvering my 20s, and it's a really, really important lesson that I'd really love everybody would just get a hold of this and just learn so much from it. And that's having the right friends. And this doesn't even apply to people in their 20s, even people in their 30s, people who are below their 20s, people in their 40s, as in just anybody, you know. And particularly in your 20s, you'll realize that you'll outgrow some of your friendships. The friendships that you had in your high school, maybe in campus, you'll outgrow these kind of friendships, maybe because of shifting priorities, going through major changes in life, and you realize that there's nothing bad about this person, but you just don't have anything in common anymore, and it's just best you go separate ways, and it's okay. So those situational friendships that you think will last maybe for your lifetime, sometimes they don't last, and it's okay. I learned early on to pray, literally pray for the right friends, because in life you never know who's for you and who's not for you. Someone can laugh with you, but in their hearts they just think something else of you you know so I learned early on to pray for the right friends, and I told God in every season of my life, if there are people in my life that their time is over, or maybe my time is over in their life, God just separate us and bring the people that I need, people who will help me or will help each other to maneuver this season of life. So this is something that I would advise everybody to just tell God, you know these people, you know everybody, you know their kind of hearts. Bring the right people, the right friends to me. Because you might meet all kinds of people, and not everybody deserves to be called a friend, no matter how good they are. Because just because someone is good, that doesn't mean that they are good. You need to tell God, you know the people who are good for me, so bring those kinds of people in my life. Some people are just best left off being a colleague, or being an acquaintance, or being a classmate, a coursemate, or a neighbor, but not friends. If you want to know who your friend is, from that list of friends you have, ask yourself, who is that person when you're going through a difficult moment, or maybe you're just having some difficult times in your life? They will drop everything and come and be by your side. Who is it? Once you answer yourself that, you will know who from that list of friends you have is supposed to be called a friend and who is not supposed to be called a friend. And also, there's something that I learned about friendship. Every once in a while, do a review of the friendships you have. The Bible says, iron sharpeneth iron. The reason why you need to do a review of your friendship every once in a while is asking yourself, this friend that I have, how are we bettering ourselves? How has she or he helped me, or how have I helped them? How have I helped them in being a better person? Maybe spiritually, maybe financially, maybe in my studies. How are we helping each other? Or are they taking away from me my time, my money, my peace of mind? Just keep on doing these reviews to know what kind of friendships you have and how they are bettering your life or the person that you are. How are they making you to be a better person day by day and not taking away from you? The last bit that I learned, last but not least, it's taking care of your body. I know you're young, you're in your 20s, you feel invincible, you're in your prime years, but the things that you do now might have either a positive impact later on in life or a negative impact. So it's best to start these healthy practices of taking care of your body to put you in a good place in terms of your health in the long run. So number one is to have healthy eating habits. I know this is something that I'm talking about, but I also need to incorporate, but just having healthy eating habits, once you incorporate these practices, it overall gives you a healthy lifestyle, and it decreases your chances of either becoming obese later on in life or having diabetes, high blood pressure, these diseases that manifest themselves later on in life. They start from now. You starting from now and adopting the right eating healthy habits might help you reduce the chances of these diseases manifesting themselves later on in life. And this can also be helped by knowing your personal and family health history, knowing what runs in your family. If, let's say, diabetes runs in your family, you know what kind of foods you need to keep away from. If you know blood pressure runs in your family, how do you need to live your life like right now? What kind of activities, what kind of practices you need to incorporate in your lifestyle so that you can reduce the chances of you getting these kind of diseases. The other one is, I'll encourage anyone who maybe does these things, and that is maybe smoking, drinking a lot, is to quit smoking and limit your alcohol intake. These two things really have they play a major role when it comes to resulting to future diseases in life. And I would just encourage anybody who smokes to just consider options of quitting and also how to limit your alcohol intake. It may not show now, but later on in life, it really has a negative impact in life later on. And the other one is exercising. I know there's this common saying that goes by, we'll be given new bodies when we get to heaven, but it's until you get to heaven. So when you're in your 40s or even late 30s or in your 50s and you can't walk 10 steps without huffing and puffing, or maybe you have to go for monthly checkups to the in the hospital because of a particular disease, and this can just be taken care of by exercising, you know. So you don't have to be running 10 kilometers a day to say that you've exercised. Even just a simple walk every evening, or maybe in the morning, or just 10 minutes exercise can help you, just refreshes your body, rejuvenates your body, and just puts you in a best place. So please try to incorporate exercises regularly in your day-to-day life. You can even do it 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be every day, just to keep you active, and it will help you later on mentally and even physically while you age. So we've come to the end of our In Your 20 video, and these are some of the few things that I learned while maneuvering my 20s that I find to be very essential and would wish that other people would also learn about them to help them as they maneuver their 20s. For someone who's in their 20s as we speak, your 20s are some of the most exciting years. I'm not saying that I've lived long enough to know which years will be exciting, but these are some of the exciting years that you live because you are finding yourself. They move you from your uncomfortable adolescence years and they fling you into your full-fledged adulthood. These are the years that you make mistakes and you learn from them. These are the years that you meet new obstacles that you've never met in your life. These are the years of learning new things, finding yourself, and just building yourself to the person or the life that you want to live, the person that you want to be. So use these years to make the most out of it, to make the best out of your life that you want to live, relationship wise and even in your career. So I wish you all the best as you maneuver your 20s, and much love from me. Till we meet again. Bye bye.